Best practices are best practices until they're not. Aligning with them can be a great idea, but we can get caught up in the doing things because that's the way we've always done them mindset. In NASCAR, many best practices were more like superstitions, like not painting your car green or using the number 13. It was also a best practice to not eat peanuts in the stands or allow women to work in the pits. The no peanuts in the stands was actually good advice for a time, as mechanics worked on their cars beneath the spectator stands. So having a rogue shell fall into an engine part could be a big deal. The tradition continued and even gained new life when peanut shells were found in 2 wrecks in 1937. Another, less superstitious best practice had to do with the race cars themselves. For a long time, it was taboo to use power steering. A lot of racers believed power steering meant you couldn't feel the track and what you were trying to do with the car. So teams stuck to that practice until people like my parents came along who raced their stock cars with power steering in the 1960s. No power steering was a best practice throughout the racing world until it wasn't. Dale Earnhardt owned a Chevy dealership and ordered parts to convert one of his race cars to power steering. He then went on to win his next 2 races. It didn't take long for the no power steering best practice to be dropped like a hot radiator cap. Drivers found power steering made the cars easier to drive. Response and handling increased. It was less fatiguing, and overall, it was much safer. Imagine if the racing world had doggedly aligned to the old practice because that's the way they always did things. Professional racing is an innovative sport, and so best practices evolve and change all the time. In Formula One, cars are redesigned and built from the ground up each year. Successful racing teams aren't enamored with any given solution. They focus on the problem and align with new best practices to take them to the winner's circle. But some best practices do feel timeless. A colleague of mine likes to bring up Robert Fulghum's book, Everything You Need to Know You Learned in Kindergarten. It's full of best practices, like share everything, play fair, don't hit people, put things back where you found them, clean up your own mess, don't take things that aren't yours, flush, and say you're sorry when you hurt somebody. I have a feeling these aren't going away anytime soon. So take a moment and consider the best practices in your life. I bet you'll find some that are worth dropping, like not using power steering, and some that are working just fine, like continue to flush.